New Zealand has a way of making you feel like you've stepped into a movie. The landscapes are dramatic and never changing. Every hour of driving reveals something new. One moment you're by the ocean, the next you're surrounded by mountains, and then wide open valleys in between. We've been fortunate enough to explore many incredible places around the world, but this might be our new favorite country. We can't wait to take you along as we explore this remote, beautiful corner of the world. We landed in Auckland and checked into an Airbnb for the night. A real bed, hot shower, and a quiet space made all the difference after a 20-hour travel day from Canada. It was a perfect pause before the adventure officially began. The next day, we flew down to Christchurch, picked up our van, and hit the road. After a lot of research and pouring through online reviews, we decided to go with Traveler's Autobarn. We loved the unique style of these vans and found them to look beautiful in the photos. Before leaving the city, we stopped at a little cafe called Strange Bandit, just a 30-second walk from where we picked up the van, and enjoyed our first proper flat white, a Kiwi's drink of choice. Every blog and video we watched recommended stopping at a grocery store in Christchurch to stock up before heading south, and that turned out to be a smart move. Prices did rise as we traveled further down the island. As Canadians, we found the food prices fairly comparable to home, but the quality, especially produce, meat, and dairy, felt noticeably fresher. Driving towards Lake Tekapo felt like an explosion of colors. Turquoise water, towering mountains, and lupins lining the shore. This lake is stunning. It gets its blue color from finely ground rock, created by glaciers grinding down the mountains. These tiny particles stay suspended in the water and reflect blue and green light. We stayed at Lake Edge Resort, right on the lake, and loved it. It's a holiday park, so it had powered sites, laundry, showers, and a kitchen area with everything you need, all with lake and mountain views. It made for the perfect base for slowing down and taking it all in. The holiday parks here put our campsites back home in Canada to shame. Here's the non-Instagrammable side of van life, the dump station. Emptying our van's toilet, dealing with smelly grey water, and refilling the freshwater tank to keep the wheels turning. It's not nearly as bad as it sounds, or looks. It's about 10 minutes of work every 2 to 3 days. Luckily, these stations are well placed all over New Zealand, making it one of the most van-friendly countries we've ever visited. The weather at Mount Cook wasn't great on our first visit. Low clouds, limited visibility, and Mount Cook completely hidden. We'd been warned that New Zealand's weather can be unpredictable, and this was a good reminder. We were grateful we had built buffer days into our plan so we could adjust and chase better conditions later. With a big storm forecasted for Milford Sound, we decided to go for it and started the long, scenic drive south. We wondered whether the roads might close or if the boats would even run. But the idea of seeing Milford in wild weather felt worth the risk. Along the way, we camped at Bendigo, a free campsite with flush toilets, sinks, and garbage bins, plus lake and mountain views that made it feel like a hidden gem. We used the Campermate app, which made finding campsites simple. Be sure to pull over and visit the sheep. With more than 30 million in New Zealand, far more than people, they graze calmly against the mountain and lakes. These little stops were some of our favorite, chance to stretch our legs and soak in unplanned scenery. Along the route to Milford, Queenstown was an adventure hub we couldn't pass up. Furburger was of course on the list. Long lines, but they move fast. Be sure to grab extra napkins. It's messy, but worth it. From there, we drove to Te Anau and stayed at the Te Anau Lakeview Holiday Park. Powered sites, laundry, a shared kitchen with ovens, barbecues, TV, and lounge areas, all overlooking the lake and surrounding mountains. It was comfortable, yet still deeply connected to nature. We woke early to catch the last bit of clear skies before the storm moved in. With Lake Marian Track right on the way, it felt like the perfect place to stop and explore one of Fiordland National Park's most iconic routes. This hike began on a high note, crossing a swinging bridge over some of the clearest blue water we'd ever seen. Even coming from Canada, this part impressed us. We continued for a couple hours through a lush, moss-covered forest, listening to curious and sometimes unusual bird calls. There might be more birds in Costa Rica here. At the top, the steep, uneven climb is instantly forgotten. Waterfalls cascade down cliff faces into an emerald green lake below. We sat, enjoyed a quiet lunch, and Kat even braved the cold water for a quick dip. Cell service is limited across much of South Island, which is where our Spot X satellite device came in handy. It allowed us to communicate through texting when needed, check in with family, and have the option to hit SOS if we ever needed it. We didn't need it often, but it gave us peace of mind. I've left a link in my bio if you want to check out the devices and plans they offer. We don't travel without ours. If you're lucky when you return to the parking lot, you might spot the Kia, the only parrot that lives in alpine environments. They're said to be as smart as a 4 or 5 year old child. Please admire them from a distance and never feed them, as they are an endangered species. The next night, we stayed at Cascade Creek Campground, which we booked through the Dock website. Surrounded by mountains and gentle, cascading waterfalls, it was a perfect place to set up camp, just as the rain began to fall. We woke up to the continuation of rain on the following day, just what we hoped for. Luckily, the roads were open and we still made our way to our awaiting boat tour in Milford Sound. We went with a family-owned company called Cruise Milford. The rain created waterfalls everywhere you looked. And the boat brought us right up close for a dramatic, immersive view of the fjord. It was without a doubt one of the most beautiful things we've ever seen. The sheer scale of the cliffs and falls will leave you in awe. We were so happy we pushed it here to make it in time for the rain. After the cruise, we took the Milford Foreshore Walk, a gentle way to explore more of the area on foot. After the storm, we pointed the van toward clear skies and followed the road north to to a town everyone told us not to miss. Wanaka quietly became one of our favorite places. The town itself is incredibly picturesque. The drive along the lake is lined with deep blue water and mountain views at every turn. One thing that stood out immediately was how clean everything was. No garbage on the streets, no litter by the lake. The next morning, we started the day with a flat white from Curbside Coffee. Getting to meet up with some friends from back home and enjoy the lake views together made it even better. We made sure to catch sunset at the famous Wanaka tree. Standing alone in the lake, a truly iconic spot. Wanaka feels like the perfect balance of adventure, relaxation, and small town charm. New Zealand can be a windy place, and we found Ely Point Reserve to be a sheltered escape, the perfect spot to spend a calm day by the water. We could have spent the rest of our trip in Wanaka. It pulls you in the best way. But we spotted a rare weather window, our only chance to see Mount Cook clearly, and decided to make the long drive back. The work driving back here paid off. The skies opened, and Mount Cook stood fully revealed. Locals told us it's rare to see it this clear, which made it feel even more special. There isn't any time to slow down when the weather lines up like this. In places like Mount Cook, you learn quickly that good conditions are never guaranteed. We took full advantage of the day, exploring quieter stretches of the lake where pockets of lupins bloomed in soft color, perfectly framing Mount Cook in the distance. Unlike some of the more popular spots nearby, this place felt completely our own. No crowds, no rush, just space to stand still and take it all in. Moments like this remind you how rare it is to feel truly alone in a landscape like this, and how quickly those moments pass. From there, we set off on one of New Zealand's most iconic hikes, the Hooker Valley Track. Crossing swinging bridges and following glacial rivers towards the mountains felt almost meditative, each step slowing our thoughts. Even though a bridge repair closed the final section of the trail, we were grateful for what we did experience. As sad as we were not to see the whole thing, we knew we'd be back someday to complete it. We camped at the free Lake Pukaki campground, about 50 minutes from Mount Cook Village. Arrive early for a good spot. It fills quickly, and some areas are uneven. The next morning, the alarm went off at 4 a.m. The conditions had held for one more day, and we knew this was our chance to experience sunrise along one of the most beautiful roads in New Zealand. We arrived just as the sky began to soften, revealing the landscape in slow layers as the light changed minute by minute. Moments like these make that early alarm clock worth it. Before the crowds arrive, when it's just you, the mountains, and the distant sound of birds waking up around you. After weeks of research, we put together a custom Google map with hundreds of pinned locations, including quiet lupin fields, the best photography spots, hidden gems, scenic hikes, swimming holes, and campsites, along with much more. Included is a written guide featuring packing lists, must-knows before traveling to New Zealand, and more time-saving planning tips. I've linked it below if you'd like to check it out. Thank you so much for your support. Twizel was a van lifer's dream, a convenient stop with groceries, a dump station, and everything you need to reset after a day of adventuring in Mount Cook National Park. For breakfast, we loved the big portions at Mint & Co. And the fresh meat pies from Twizel Bakery were among the best we had, especially the minced meat pie. What made New Zealand unforgettable wasn't just the mountains or lakes, it was the way the country slows you down, quieter mornings, unhurried days, and people who make you feel welcome even in the most remote places. But this is only the beginning. In part 2, we push deeper into the South Island and take on one of the biggest physical challenges of our lives. A hike that will test us mentally and physically in ways we've never experienced before. If you want to follow along on that journey, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out. Thanks for coming along.